All right. So I've been interested of listening to this video. I haven't watched any of it yet. This is my boy Darryl. This is my boy Darryl Tsung. He's a massive retro MK fan, such as myself and Total MK. And we're going to listen to his thoughts on the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection so far. Let's go.
All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for clicking on this brief video. It is no secret now that Mortal Kombat, the Legacy Collection, is coming out for the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5. And I almost guarantee it's coming out for the Xbox as well as even the Switch 2. I'm
coming out on
put
everything.
money on that, but we don't know for sure yet. I just think, you know what, these companies are all about money. And when it comes to money, there's a lot to be made, especially with this collection. So I don't see why it wouldn't be on Xbox or the Switch as well. As for cross-platform play, that would be another fantastic feature if this is included as well. Hopefully it is, and I am looking forward to this very, very much. So what do we know about this so far? That's what this video is. It's not a reaction video of any sorts. I'm not going to stare at the screen and go, this is awesome, because I'm not a fan of those videos, but if that's your thing.
Listen, man. Listen. My reaction was 100% genuine. It was actually. I was completely caught off guard. But anyway, let's go.
Hey, I respect it for sure. What I am going to do is talk about what we know about this collection already. And I'm going to give my opinions and thoughts and, speculations on what will be included in this fantastic Mortal Kombat collection. So, what do we know so far? We know that Mortal Kombat 1, 2, 3, Ultimate MK3, and MK4 are going to be on this. So, what versions are included in this? Let's talk about Mortal Kombat 1 first off. The arcade, the Super Nintendo, the Genesis, the Game Boy, and the Game Gear versions of MK1 are going to be out. And that's awesome. I can't wait to play each one of these again on the next-gen consoles. Now, I've been playing these games for the last 2 years on the channel, revisiting regular, original hardware and such, and playing these games. So anybody who watches the channel knows that I love these old school games, and I love playing all of them. So it'll be no, it won't be any big problem jumping back into these and playing them again. I've already been refreshed basically by playing these over the last couple of years, so this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to doing all of this, playing all of it online. The Game Boy version of Mortal Kombat 1 was the first at-home experience I had playing Mortal Kombat, so I'm not picky. I'm not picky. I enjoyed this one a lot when it came out, obviously.
Me and Darryl, 1v1, Game Boy. Right, because I never owned the Game Boy Edition, and oh boy, that was an interesting experience when I've tried it out. So yeah, I'm throwing the gauntlet now to Darryl, me and him, 1v1 in Game Boy MK1.
Over the years, it hasn't held up well, but if this is online too, so I'm curious about that. I think everything is going to be online, but it'll be interesting to play something like Mortal Kombat 1 for Game Boy online. So we know that these 5 versions are going to be available. Mortal Kombat 2, the arcade, SNES, Genesis, Game Boy, Game Gear, and 32X versions are going to be available on this collection. The 32X and the Super Nintendo seem to be the most favored versions of this. Once again, I can't wait to play Mortal Kombat 2, the Game Boy version, against people online, if that is so available, because the Game Boy version was incredible. I don't know how many of you actually played it back in the day or recently, but this was one of the best handheld versions.
It was a step up.
Mortal Kombat 2.
It was a step up.
I am excited about that. Vanilla Mortal Kombat 3, which some people favor this one over Ultimate, myself included. When it comes to single player, this is going to be available on the collection. Arcade, SNES, and Genesis confirmed already, and that's a cool thing. The Super Nintendo and the Genesis versions of Mortal Kombat 3 Vanilla were incredible. They were done really well. They're pretty much equal when it came to comparisons. The Genesis sound was a little more grainy and whatnot, but that's going to be cool to revisit these. Now, Mortal Kombat 4, the arcade version, this is confirmed, and this is awesome. This is something that a lot of people in the Mortal Kombat community, old school gamers like myself, are looking forward to. Now, I've played it on the PlayStation 1 and the Nintendo 64 many times over the last couple of years, and that's cool. But this is an actual arcade port, which I didn't get to play a lot of back in the day, but this is going to be the arcade accurate version, and it's going to be online, and that is exciting. Getting back into this. Now, a lot of people don't like this version. They don't like MK4 that fell off, but trust me, if you return to this and you play it for 10-15 minutes, and you know, with the speed, and it is fun. You will get back into it. Trust me, you will. If you liked it back in the day, you will like it again when you play it again. And I am really, really stoked about this version, and I can't wait to play this one. So
it's been, yeah, we haven't played MK4 at home since the PS1 and 64, right? And we've never had an arcade version released like ever. So to be able to have this, especially online, that's going to be psychotic. Now, I definitely, like, it's not my favorite out of the original Legacy collections, but it still feels like MK. It's still got the tone of Mortal Kombat. It's got, you know, it's really fast. Like, it's really quick. Don't let the 3D models or the world confuse you. It's a fast MK, like, really quick, because it's got the run button in it, right? So they carried that over from Ultimate and MK3. And just, you know, made some addition, like, changes to, like, for example, in the combos, you can now add in like a special move inside the combo, which was pretty cool as well. So they added in 3D movement. It's basically just a sidestep, so it's not full 3D control like in the 3D era. And then of course they introduced weapons, which I've talked about before briefly. Like, the weapons, they're okay. You know, there's some stuff you can pick up in the arena that you can throw as well. But yeah, it's the weapons, like, if you get hit while you're not blocking, you drop them instantly. You know, it's a bit of a pest, but whatever.
That's all they announced for the MK4. It was also on the Game Boy Color. It was also on the Dreamcast, and then, like I said, PlayStation 1 and N64. So we don't know if those versions are going to be included, any of them. If they are, again, like, the more content, the better. They just...
One of the just recent videos I did is talking about, like, whether they'll actually make this Legacy Collection like a front end and add content to it over time. You know, so it'd be kind of cool that over time they add those versions, but it's not gonna, like, I guess they're sort of looking at it right now as like, we want to have the most definitive editions that really are separating itself out from everything else within that time frame of, say, the MK2 release schedule, MK3 release schedule, MK1. I don't think they want to double up just yet, you know, because that's why they got the Game Gear in there instead of, like, the Master System, because, you know, at the end of the day, they're the same, right? But over time, just to add it in, just to say, yep, there's the Master System version, they might actually do it. And I'm really hoping that this ends up being a front end for all things MK.
Throw everything on, that would be awesome. The Game Boy Color version of MK4 is actually very unique. And, you know, I'm sure a lot of you would enjoy visiting these versions of Mortal Kombat 4 as well. So, again, that's what people have been commenting about the Dreamcast. They want Mortal Kombat Gold on this collection. Will it be included? We don't know yet. We don't know. They haven't announced everything. They are keeping some secrets and holding on to some information about this package and this collection, and that is one of the things that they're holding from us right now. Ultimate MK3, they've only announced the arcade and SNES versions on this. That's interesting. I'm wondering if they'll throw the Genesis version on. I don't see why they wouldn't. However, it was very close to the Super Nintendo version, which might be why they're just like, okay, we're only going to do the one version. But again, that came out, Ultimate MK3 came out on the Saturn as well, and that was a very good version. It was also on the PlayStation 2 as a bonus with the Mortal Kombat Armageddon premium pack, so we don't know. I don't think they'll have the PlayStation 2 version on there per se, but you never know. Anything is possible.
I guess, see, my logical thought on this is that, like, because they are basically like pretty much arcade, almost arcade perfect ports, then there's no reason to put them on there. Does that make sense? It's like we've got the arcade, we've got the big kahuna, so why would we have something that's ever so, I mean, like, you know, you'd have to be nitpicky to really start to pick up on the differences with sound, loading, color palette, things like that. So they probably go, nah, there's no point having that. But we want to have ones in there that we can see an actual big difference, like the SNES versus arcade, right? Of course, the SNES one is slightly different because they made some characters available. So that's why I think that, they want to have that gulf of difference. But again, over time, they might add them in just as a, oh, yeah, here you go. Like, just, pay a couple of bucks, get them in there, whatever.
MK Advance, the Game Boy Advance version of Mortal Kombat Ultimate MK3, basically. So MK Advance was terrible. It got a 0 out of 10 from GamePro, I believe, when it came out, and it is hands down the worst version of a Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 style game. So they're releasing it on this. It's already been announced. So I am curious if they threw it in the mix just to show people that haven't played it just how bad it was in terms of like it taking up memory and such. The amount of storage and such on the new next gen systems. I mean, they can fit everything on here easily without much worry about if they have enough storage and such. So Mortal Kombat Advance. I'm curious with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collection. I mentioned this yesterday in my live stream. The Nintendo version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on that, with the Nintendo, there used to be screen flickering, and so characters, if there's too much going on the screen, then the characters would kind of flicker and such. And they removed that for the collection, the TMNT collection, which makes me wonder if they're going to release the original Mortal Kombat Advance and also an updated, just fixed version of this game, which again would be cool. If they don't, it's not a big deal because there's so much content on this collection that I don't think it really matters, to be honest. But that's what I wonder about MK Advanced. So that's been confirmed also. Deadly Alliance and Mortal Kombat Tournament Edition for the Game Boy Advance is also confirmed. A lot of comments were saying that we want Deadly Alliance with the original PS2 version. So here's what I'm thinking in regards to this. I'm curious if games like Deadly Alliance, Deception, and Mortal Kombat Armageddon, all released on the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox as well. I'm wondering if those are even going to be included. Perhaps it can be included on a bonus disc. Perhaps it can be another Legacy Collection, maybe a Legacy Collection Part 2, if that comes out in time, because I think this is more focusing on the original arcade versions of Mortal Kombat.
As I said, there is no 3D era gameplay from the actual proper 3D era gameplay in that trailer. Like, there's none. Not a single snippet of it outside of the ones that they've already announced. Right? So, because the 3D era is such a beloved era as well, you wouldn't just, like, ham that in at the end and go, oh, here you go. Like, no, they're gonna have to make a big song and dance about it. Right? They have to. They absolutely have to. Right? Because it was such a big era as well. Like, such a massive era of MK. So you can't just ham-fist it in at the end, or whatever. You would have to make it... You would have to make it like either an expansion, which I'm leaning more towards now than a separate release, like a separate standalone release. Because and big trailer, really focusing on what all the cool stuff was in it, all the mini games, Deception Conquest mode, Creator Fighter, like just go ham, just go absolutely nuts. Show the interactable stages, all the death traps. Oh, just everything. Go crazy.
There's going to be tons of like interviews and behind the scenes content on this. I'm fairly sure of that, as well as artwork and just so much content packed into this, which makes me think that Deadly Alliance and again Deception and such, the PlayStation 2 versions and Xbox 360 versions will perhaps be on a different collection altogether. Now, obviously, Mortal Kombat Trilogy is missing from this. Everybody is talking about the Mortal Kombat Trilogy. They want Mortal Kombat Trilogy on this, and I don't blame them. The thing is Trilogy was released on the Saturn, it was released on the N64, it was released on the PlayStation.
And PC.
Being that this trailer, this preview is PlayStation dominant trailer kind of thing, it makes me wonder if perhaps Trilogy, PlayStation 1 will be an exclusive just for the PlayStation owners. If this does come out on Switch, I wonder if the N64 version of Trilogy will be available just on that.
Oh, please don't give them ideas, man. Don't give them ideas. No. And to be honest, I know what he's talking about, right? Because we used to have this back in the day. Shit, man, they did it with Soul Calibur. I think it was Soul Calibur 2, right? Where there was like an exclusive character on each platform, PS2, Xbox, and GameCube. But no, I don't think they do it. Because that would absolutely fracture the player base, and that would be the most greedy, scum-sucking thing that they could ever have done. It would eclipse everything that's been done in MK1 by actually making it so that, well, if you want the N64 version, you got to play it on the Switch. That would be really terrible, and I don't think they're going to do it, considering that the collection itself has multiple platforms available anyway. He said it's PlayStation dominant, but it's actually very Sega dominant as well in this collection too. So I don't give me ideas. Don't give them ideas, bro. Just don't do it, man. They'll probably go, oh, that's a fucking good idea. No, it's not. It's a bad idea. Bad idea.
As a exclusive for the Switch, perhaps. And then they also had a PC version, the good old games version, I think the MS-DOS version of Trilogy or whatever, which was fantastic too. Maybe they will throw that on this as well. But people are all like, oh, it doesn't have Trilogy. I believe that that is one of the secrets or things that they're holding on to, because Trilogy was basically an arcade. It wasn't in the arcade specifically, but it still played like an arcade game, which makes me also wonder if maybe they made a just a remastered version exclusively for this collection of Trilogy. That could be a possibility too.
Come on, man. Don't get me that excited at this hour of the morning. Right. Oh, I'm just thinking about it, man. Imagine that. So they go, what are the final games? Then it shows MK Gold and everyone's like, yay! And then they go, Mythology, Sub-Zero, and Special Forces, and everyone goes, yay! Yeah. I mean, listen, I play the fuck out of them, right? But some people weren't big fans of those games. And then they come in, right? And they show Mortal Kombat Trilogy, like the old school look. And then it flips and it shows a remastered version that you can flip on the on the fly to. Anytime throughout the gameplay, just press a button and it flips the old graphics or new graphics. One-to-one gameplay, no change, nothing whatsoever. It's all one-to-one perfect. So if you're playing new graphics, it handles exactly the same way. So you don't feel any deviation in gameplay.
We don't know for sure, but I cannot see them not adding Trilogy on this. That is an absolute fan favorite.
Yeah, it'll be on there.
Because of that, that's my opinion about Trilogy in this mix. Like I said, MK4, it's missing the PS1, the N64, and the Dreamcast versions. Again, that's a speculation to be included on this as well. Shaolin Monks would be fantastic on this, because if it's online, then you could play with like a buddy from across the world. Shaolin Monks was a great game for PlayStation 2 and Xbox 360. It was great for 2 players, though. That's one thing. So if they bring this back, and it is in fact included in this, then playing online would be so much fun, because this game is absolutely incredible.
So from a marketing perspective, right, Shaolin Monks is the draw card. Like people love the 3D era MK games, but everyone is pretty much unanimous outside of Deception on the fact of Shaolin Monks. Like Shaolin Monks is it's the linchpin sale of say a 3D era collection or a 3D era DLC pack, right? because again, think of also the generation, the hardware generation that fits in with the other releases of Mortal Kombat in that generation. So it makes perfect sense to have them all in there together, right? I wouldn't like the idea of them adding it to the Legacy Collection, because it's not legacy. Like, it's not, again, this is very focused on 2D, right? It's very focused on that era of Mortal Kombat's history, but also the hardware. I've said this before, I'm probably not saying it right, but people go, well, they got Deadly Alliance and Tournament Edition. Yeah, but like the Game Boy, right, lasted generations, right? So the Game Boy itself, you know, despite there being changes from 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit, the Game Boy would still get editions of whatever games that were on the main platform. It would get like a downgraded, you know, version, so that way handheld players would have something to play with. So that's why like those versions, I believe, are in here, because it's old. It matches the time frame of the Legacy era. The 3D era, however, I think will definitely be a complete pack with Shaolin Monks. You don't need Shaolin Monks to sell the Legacy Collection. You need Gold and you need Trilogy. That's the two games that will really push people over the line. And that's why they're holding off, right? They look at all of us right now. We're all talking about where's Trilogy, where's Gold, where's Trilogy, where's Gold, right? They want that. It's good marketing. It's good word of mouth. Everyone's getting excited. The speculation. We've got secrets just from a fucking trailer that we're getting hyped about, right? This is the most excited I've been about Mortal Kombat since the announcement of MK9.
Well, it's just very, very hard, which is why I haven't played through it in its entirety on my channel as well. But if they do include Shaolin Monks, that would be fantastic. Mythologies and Special Forces, both PlayStation 1 exclusives. No, I shouldn't say that. It was on the PlayStation 1.
And then 64 for Mythologies.
Which one? Mythologies was on the PS1, also the Nintendo 64.
Yep.
I don't think they released it on the computer.
No,
but
no, they
again,
never
two
did.
versions of Sub-Zero Mythologies. I think if they do include this, they could include both. Who knows? But the PlayStation 1 version, in my opinion, was better.
Yeah, it's the superior one, because the PS1 version of Mythology Sub-Zero had all the cutscenes, right? So yeah, you need that one.
Full motion cutscenes in between, and it was great for fans alike. Mythologies was a very hard game. People have bad memories about it. It's very janky the way it plays, but there's just something appealing about that game. When I returned to it for the channel and did the complete playthrough of it, as much as I hated it, I also loved it, because it brought me back to 97 or whatever it was when it was released.
Mythology's like, so the soundtrack is a banger. The soundtrack is fucking on point. Like, it is an most amazing soundtrack. One of the best soundtracks in the entire Mortal Kombat, universe. It's really good. Very underrated. But the gameplay is weird, because the gameplay, rather than so they treated it, they took your, like, the 2D character and they stuck it in there, and they're like, oh shit. How do we turn them around? And instead of simply just going, oh, well, when they press back, they turn around, right? They couldn't do that because some of the special moves require you maybe to use back. So therefore, they added in a switch stance button, which then turns your character. But then that kind of feels it feels very alien. Because if you're an MK fan playing 2D MK, and then you're using a 2D MK character on screen, like, to be able to physically turn feels weird. Like, to have a button to do that feels very strange. But as you level up and you access more and more abilities, you start to really feel the power of Sub-Zero, which was one of the really cool things. And yeah, there was some shitty platform mechanics in that game, but by God, there is a charm to it. There's a fucking charm to it, man.
And seeing those full motion cutscenes and such was just, it was a blast to see those again. And so if they do add those on this Legacy Collection, I think that would be a great thing. Now, the thing is I really do think that a lot of these games are going to be on a Part 2 Legacy Collection, perhaps. Because, again, the focal point on this, I think, for old school fans is going to be all the arcade games again, all into one package, available online. And while a lot of this stuff is available on Fightcade, not everybody has a PC to run Fightcade. I was only introduced to Fightcade within the last year or two, and I started playing on there, which is great. There's a great community of gamers on Fightcade. It's all free as long as you got a PC, so anyone can pick it up and play it. But to have this available on next-gen consoles is just going to bring so many more people, so many more fans of the games back into the nostalgic, old-school gaming world of Mortal Kombat back in the past, and that is fantastic. It's fantastic for the Mortal Kombat community. It's fantastic for myself, being a huge fan of the old games, and I just think this is incredible. This is what we've been waiting for.
Yep.
So there's all the good old game versions too, the MS-DOS versions, Amiga and such. I don't think they're going to put much of that into this.
And, they don't need to.
It's not a big deal. There's so much content on this that I think it's going to
be... They don't need to. Like, so I think MK2, was the worst port out of MK1, 2, and 3. I think the sound was really shit. But no, you don't need them in there. I mean, you know, if they put them in there like as an add-on later down the road, okay, sure, whatever, fine. But yeah, they don't need them. I am to be able to play like, and I can anytime. Right, but to be able to play it within a bought collection, like the Mega Drive version of MK1, online against people, you have no idea how much fun that's going to be.
Fantastic. And then you have MK versus DC, which again, I don't think they'll include that on this. It might be something in the future that they include, but. Again, overall, this collection, I'm very much looking forward to it. So these are just my opinions and thoughts and speculations on what I think is going to happen when this is released finally. And again, I believe it's going to be released September, October. That's what I'm thinking personally, because MK2, the movie's coming out at the end of October. And the original Mortal Monday was back in September, back in '93. And
September 13th, I think it was.
Fun time to be alive. And... I think it was 93. My years could be off there, but it was a long time ago. So ultimately, anyways, that's what this was. Just my opinion on the whole situation. Just elaborating a little bit more on my thoughts of this and what has already been confirmed for this collection. Somebody else brought up MK3, Ultimate MK3 for the DS, because that was such a arcade perfect version of Ultimate MK3. They're like, maybe they'll throw that into the mix as well. With the dual screens, I mean, it might be different. I don't know how they would throw that in the mix, but you never know if that's there. That's a cool thing. That's a good thing also. So the bottom line is, I'm very excited. I'm glad they announced this. I think if they do make a Legacy 2 collection, it'll be the 3D era games all the way up to Mortal Kombat 9. I think that's probably where they'll stop it. 9, 10, and 11, and then MK1, I think, will just remain as is on their respective platforms right now. I don't know if they'll ever bring those back into the mix for a collection, but anyways, that being said, very exciting time in 2025 here for us old school Mortal Kombat fans. I'm very excited and pleased to be part of this community, and looked at as somebody who is, truly passionate about these old games, because I do love playing these. It's so much fun, and I am so glad to, relive my youth again once this Legacy collection comes out. So if you clicked on the video and you watched the entirety of it, I do appreciate it. Thank you very much. And that being said, thank you for watching, and I will see you in another video very soon. Enjoy the rest of your day, ladies and gentlemen.
That's I fucking love that ending. Yeah, so I'll leave a link in the description for Darryl's video. Go, please check out his channel, especially if you're an old head and love the classic MK games. You're definitely gonna get a ton of content over there, and it is really cool. It is very cool to be able to have, to be able to purchase. Like, I know it sounds like a weird thing to say, but it's really cool to get excited about wanting to purchase Mortal Kombat and know it's going to be amazing. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just, back then when you bought MK, you knew it was going to be great because you had the arcades to go off, and you're like, yep, this is going to be really cool. Get the home versions, really cool. And it's really exciting to, like, as soon as, listen, man, like, as soon as I'm able to, like, because you can't, Yeah, you can't pre-order on Steam, right? Oh no, you can. You can. But I think yeah, no, you can. But yeah, that'll be something I definitely would pre-order. Now, just as an interesting thing, actually, you know what? I'm gonna save that for another video. I'm gonna save it for another video because I do have some thoughts on something about this, which I don't want to divulge just yet in this video. But shout out to Darryl. How you going, bro? And I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.